No, I'm not talking about how scrolling through 5-second videos scrambles your focus. We all know that. I'm not talking about the comparison trap where you scroll through the most extreme versions of wealth and beauty. We've all heard the quote, "Comparison is the thief of joy." This is common knowledge. What I'm about to tell you is way, way deeper and way more sinister. When I figured this out a few years ago, I deleted every short-form content app from my iPhone and never looked back since. Because when you truly understand this, it will petrify you, and it should. To understand how short-form content is systematically destroying your brain, we first need to grasp its sheer dominance. In the battle for your time, a new king has been crowned. While you might think Netflix, with its binge-worthy series, reigns supreme, the data tells us a different story. The average US adult is now spending nearly an hour a day on TikTok. It's almost the same amount of time they spend watching Netflix. Think about that. A platform of endless 15-second clips is commanding the same attention as Hollywood-produced movies and entire seasons of television. In fact, young adults aged 18 to 24 are already watching the equivalent of a full-length comedy movie on TikTok every single day. So what are you actually doing for that hour? You think you're watching videos, a collection of frames, pixels on a screen, but you're not. 99% of what you see is viral content. And for something to go viral, it must produce an emotion. Our emotions dictate our attention. That's the secret to its addictive power. Every time you scroll, you're pulling the lever on an emotional slot machine. You're not scrolling through videos, you're scrolling through catching emotions. Think about it. 1 second you're laughing at a cat video, flick, the next you're enraged by a political clip. Flick, then you're inspired by a cancer survivor's story. Flick, now you're jealous of a guy driving a Ferrari. Sadness, anger, anxiety, inspiration, joy, grief, envy, loneliness. In the space of 30 seconds, you have ricocheted through a half dozen powerful emotional states. Your brain is lurching from one to the next with no time to process any of them. This feels great in the moment. It's a rush, but here's the kicker. Emotions aren't free. They have a chemical cost. For your brain to produce anger, it needs to release norepinephrine. To feel joy, it needs serotonin. These are powerful neurochemicals. In normal life, they're released in response to real events, prompting you to act. They have a purpose. But with short-form content, there's nothing to do with the emotion. You feel a spike of rage, but the video is gone. You feel a wave of inspiration, but you've already scrolled to the next thing. Have you ever scrolled for an hour only to put your phone down and feel empty, apathetic, completely emotionally haywire, and strangely depressed? That feeling has a name. It's an emotional hangover. Just like your body has to break down alcohol after a night of heavy drinking, your brain has to clean up the chemical chaos you have unleashed. It's struggling to process the onslaught of conflicting emotional chemicals you have just mainlined in your system. And when you do this every single day, you're training your brain to overproduce these chemicals. You're making yourself emotionally sensitive and unstable. Imagine driving a car but trying to shift gears every 5 seconds. That is what you're doing to your brain. You're forcing it to switch emotional states so rapidly that it can't cope and begins to break down. This is why we are in a mental health crisis. We've created a population that is emotionally incontinent. People who are easily triggered into rage or tears. People who are rocked by waves of anxiety from the smallest things. This is not normal. Your brain is designed to be emotionally robust. So let me leave you with this. An emotional state is an output. It's a reaction, and for every reaction, there is an action, an input. And if you suffer from anxiety, depression, or uncontrollable anger, has it ever occurred to you that it might be the input that is causing the problem? You are what you consume, and you're consuming emotional chaos for hours every day. What did you think would happen? Go and binge watch the saddest, most tragic documentaries for 12 hours straight. You will induce a state of depression in yourself. Of course you will. Short-form content is just that on steroids. A relentless, chaotic fire hose, every emotion known to man blasting you in the face every single day. If you skip scrolling, you're actively choosing to dismantle your emotional well-being. If you are struggling, this is not doing you any favors. It is pouring gasoline on the fire. It's time to ask yourself, is this scroll worth your sanity?